Dear young brothers and sisters of the new generation of Hindustan, Namaskar. In the last episode, we have seen a summary of all the invasions happened in Hindustan since AD 712 up to or including the invasion by Portuguese. And in all those invasions, the invaders had two objectives. The first one is to loot the wealth of Hindustan, and the second one is to convert the people of Hindustan to their religion. And the advantage of converting a certain population to a particular religion is that those population or those people who belong or who were forcefully converted to that particular religion initially, since they are terrified, since the methods used for such conversions are very brutal, and since they are very afraid of those people who converted them to this particular religion, they are internally or mentally they are terrified and they will never oppose. It is very difficult that those people will oppose to those who converted them to that particular religion. It is the fear of death or the fear of death of their children which constrain them to accept those new religions. That's the only reason. And as the generations passes, these forcefully imposed doctrines are slowly transmitted to the new generation, and once 3 or 4 generations passes, the new generation will be convinced that what all they have or they had learned from their ancestors are truth. So, based on these fundamentals, I have prepared some questions to share with you for all of us to reflect or to think independently about the fundamentals or the benefits of those two religions which were imported and imposed forcefully over the citizens of Hindustan and making them tamed as animals. Practically, that was what happened, as taming animals for the proper benefit. The Christians always narrate an example of shepherd, a good shepherd. But the question is, do the shepherd keep the sheep for the benefit of the sheep or for the benefit of the shepherd? Unless and until you ask that particular question, the shepherd is always good. But the shepherd keep the sheep, the herd of sheep, for the benefit of the shepherd and not for the sheep. This is a fact. So, with that outlook, with a rational outlook, with independent thinking capacity, instead of being brainwashed and being tamed, each individual has the responsibility and the duty to think with his own brain, not with the brain of someone who has a big beard or someone who has a particular dress or someone who pretends as the representative of who knows of whom. These are all techniques to brainwash and do not permitting you to think independently. So you being people, young people with academic qualifications, at least a basic degree, and having the thinking capacity is for all of us. I have prepared these questions which we have to reflect on independently using our own brain. And that is the intention. So let us see those questions one by one. I'm not going to give you any answer. It is up to you to think and make your own answer for your own benefit, not for anything else. It's not to make some revolution, absolutely no. It is just to keep your mind and brain clean, independent, and free thinking. And that is my intention, nothing else. So let us see those questions one by one. The first question is, if what we have seen in the previous episode are historical facts behind the introduction of the two religions to Hindustan, where our ancestors lived in peace, harmony, and abundance, do you think, I repeat, do you think that there is any divine or godly presence in any of these religions? It is your independent, personal, rational, logical, and individual answer which is important. It's not a collective answer. It depends on you alone. Each of these questions are for you alone. The second question, were our own ancestors Christians or Muslims before AD 712? And when and how the first citizen of Hindustan became a Muslim or a Christian? And the third question, if you believe in creation, if the Muslims were chosen people created in the Arabian desert by Allah, and if the Christians were chosen people created in the same desert by Jehovah, who created the non-chosen people of the rest of the world in earthly paradises? See, both the religions introduced to Hindustan since AD 712 were originated in this geographical area. That is, here you can see the Caspian Sea, here's the Black Sea, here's the Mediterranean Sea, and here is the Red Sea, and here is the Persian Gulf. It is in this hot Arabian desert both these religions originated. Here is Israel, which is related to the Christian religion, and here is Mecca, here is Medina. So the question is, why Allah and Jehovah located their own chosen people in the middle of the Arabian desert above 50 degrees centigrade and probably more than 50 degrees centigrade towards the noon, where there was not even sufficient water to drink, while the non-chosen people lived in terrestrial paradises such as Brazil, Panama, Costa Rica, Madagascar, Australia, New Zealand, India, China, Vietnam, Ceylon, so on and so forth. And again, the question is, who created those non-chosen people and granted them such terrestrial paradises? Again, the question is, why Allah and Jehovah were not aware of those terrestrial paradises? The next question is it logical and rational to transform the earth to a terrible hell, killing and looting others for an imaginary heaven which no one has ever seen? Again, the sixth question, is it right and legitimate that the chosen people of Allah and Jehovah kill others and loot their wealth and properties? The next question, did these religions granted peace and harmony among the people, or had they inseminated hatred among them and catalyzed the emotion to destroy each other? Reflect on these questions, because these are legitimate questions each individual has to ask to himself. Then make his decision. It depends on him. Nothing is imposed here. Absolutely nothing is imposed in these questions. These are legitimate questions which an individual must ask to himself. That's all. Many people exclaim about the charity the religions, especially Christianity, had and has offered to Hindustan. But the question is, did we need those charities if the reality of Hindustan was as affirmed by prominent scholars and historians, as we have seen in episodes 3 to 5? And see also the following statements. See this affirmation by the Moroccan traveler Ibn Battuta. He says, I have seen no region on the earth in which provisions are so plentiful. And here is another affirmation by another traveler whose name is Tavernier. He says, even in the smallest villages, rice, flour, butter, milk, beans, and other vegetables, sugar, and sweetmeats can be produced in abundance. And here is another affirmation by Lord Curzon, the British, who was the late Viceroy of India. And he says, powerful empires existed and flourished here in India while Englishmen were still wandering painted in the woods, and while the British colonies were a wilderness and a jungle. India has left a deeper mark upon the history, the philosophy, and the religion of mankind. Please note these words, the religion of mankind. Not the religion of a certain group of chosen people, the religion of mankind, than any other terrestrial unit in the universe. So if this was the reality of Hindustan, did we need any charity? Please think and make your own answer. Question number 9. What the root of these religions made of? The question arises because when these religions were introduced and imposed on the citizens of Hindustan, what we have seen is terrible genocide, looting of the wealth of others, and converting the people who lived in peace, harmony, and abundance to those religions using absolute brutality. Yes or no? The answer is yours. Keep it for you. But the question is, what is the real root? Reflect, make your own answer. And finally, question number 10. Is it logical, rational, intelligent, and honest to ourselves that we continue to follow and believe those doctrines imported to Hindustan and imposed and enforced to our ancestors by pointing the sword on their chest, torturing them brutally, and butchering their children in front of their eyes? You being young generation with independent capacity to think, please think, make your own decision. So thank you very much for your kind attention to my words. See you in the next episode. Jai Hind.